Yes, he drove the bus himself. And on the skid pan in the film. Yeah, HGV. Well, to be honest, we had so much difficulty with the babies that we decided we wouldn't have another one. Because he kept crying over my laugh lines. And the writers very kindly took him out for the next film. I was doing a series called Wild Wild Women at the BBC, and I had a tiny, tiny part, and I came in one day and I had flu, so I hadn't bothered to comb my hair, put my makeup on, and the two writers took me straight away over to see Stuart, and I got the job. And if I'd gone and auditioned, I'd have put my... In fact, Ronnie's just told me that I tried to put my makeup on in the car going over. And he said, no, we want you looking as you are, and that's how I got it.
The budget for the show, it was about £10,000, I think. £10,000 each show cost. Well, she got nothing. I mean, I got about 40 quid, 50 quid a week. Yeah. Well, as the director, my salary was £3,500 a year. A long time ago. I had to bring up a family, a four-on family. Because my youngest child was born on the second episode of the Mustard, so he's 41 years old now. Do you remember Cicely Courtney went to the audience after we'd recorded that show and said, Stuart's a father. Again. And I'll tell you this story. I used to smoke rather heavily, and after the birth of this young boy, I went to the next rehearsal and Red saw me lighting up another. I chain smoked those little Schimmelpfennig cigars. They probably don't exist anymore now, but they were very tiny cigars. I did that after I stopped smoking a pipe. Anyway, Rich looked at me and said, Stuart, I don't know how you're going to afford to smoke with all those children. And I said, I can't, Rich, I can't. And I gave up that day, and I haven't smoked since the second episode of On the Bus.
Well, we wrote the first comedy that Hammer Films had ever done, and because they'd never done a comedy, they thought it would be a disaster, so they gave us a good percentage. And when the film came out, it took more money that year than the James Bond film. So thank God for Hammer. And they were so surprised, and we made 3 films, which all made a lot of money. So thank God for Hammer Films.
I'd say that Hammer Films really didn't know much about it.
No,
I remember that in the motorbike, you know when the motorbike came with the sidecar, there was only a piece of string. It was a piece of string I was holding on to, and the two Ronnies, bless them, said, it's all right, it's the last shot of the film.
Well, I think our one memory is when we were doing a show in front of an audience, all our television shows in front of an audience, and they laughed. We didn't have double laughter in those days, but we had one show where we got so many laughs that Stuart had to stop recording the show to stop the audience laughing. And it was the one called The New Uniforms, when Stanley went home because the inspector wanted them to have their measurement for new buses, so he got a tape measure out, and then his brother-in-law said, and Mum was serving breakfast, why does he always get a bigger breakfast than me? So the mother said, no, you both got a sausage and an egg. He says, his sausage is bigger than mine. And they started measuring their sausage. And then he said, my sausage is curved, and his isn't. And we went on like this, and the audience wouldn't stop laughing. Remember it?
And we was all 40 years younger. That helped as well, didn't it, for our guys? And you, Anna? No, it was a great show to work on. I was only an extra on it, but it was a great show to work on. And 40 years ago, we was young men. Was we young men back then?
We're young.
Yeah. And young girls as well, sorry. Thank you very much.
It's also a good memory for us is that we had written a show, 2 shows for the BBC, The Rag Trade and Meet the Wife, which had only been big successes, and we came up with this idea on the buses. So we took the BBC and they said, no way, what's funny about being on a bus? Unless you fall off or have a crash, we don't see anything funny about a bus. So we then took it to London Weekend and they said, yeah, why not, let's have a go and try it. So I think the BBC rather regretted that forever.
No, it was favourite show. I think was the same studio as was Randall and Hopkirk, 68, 69. But I went on to do something like 800 different productions with the late Mike Reid, who we know, yeah, wonderful Mike Reid. It was a job. You go out every day to earn a living, and they said you're on the Sweeney tomorrow, or you're on Minder, or you're on the buses, or you're on, and you're working with Hitchcock tomorrow. I went, what? That's what I did for a living. So in life, what you've got to do, if you've got any things to do, go and do it, or try, at least, because if you don't try, you don't get it. All of us, even my age. You know I'm past 40 now, don't you? No laughing, please. But it was, listen, my life has been wonderful. And it was great to work with these people and on the buses. Great. I remember that. I remember doing that, and it was Reg Varney. And, do you know Reg Varney had a brother, don't you? Yes, he did. He was named Manta. Oh, it's a bad game. Manta Varney.
Okay, moving on. Moving on now.
I'm going out while I'm in front.
Say I have never eaten a pickled onion from that day, and I never will. Disgusting thing.
Don't forget, these were shows we did in front of an audience. I don't think today they want to do situation comedies in the same way that we would have done then. Do you know any of what's still being done in this? It was a different, you know, this. We used to do these shows weekly. We rehearsed. We started. We read through on the first day. Then we worked. We hoped they knew half of it on the second day. We hoped they knew all of it on the third day. We put the 2 bits together on the 4th and the 5th day, and then we did it on the 6th day. You know, it was a very tight schedule, and an audience came in and watched the show being recorded, and then we had one day off. Or the artist did. I didn't, because I had to edit what we'd done. But then we started again, did another one starting the next week. So it was a pretty hard for everybody, but I don't know whether they would do it again now. I think it's very unlikely. And anyway, I mean, buses are different. We don't have any conductors on buses now, do we? I mean, so it would have been rather difficult. Poor old Rach would have to talk to himself all the time.